Harley Quinn, Series 1, Episode 1, titled Death to His Part. This episode, of course, it's the first episode of the show. When I first heard of it, I was on board. This adult Harley Quinn anime show. It's cool, great. I mean, animation is where Harley's from. So I was on board. But then the trailers came out, and I was like, oh, this feels like the Titans trailer a little bit. Just, trying to be all, look how edgy we are, Harley and, look, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy and Joker and Riddler and Bane are all saying, fuck, look how edgy we are, Isn't that great? And I'm like, we all know how I love this side of the DC universe, but I feel like you're going to be like Pennyworth when I push you to the side. I haven't seen a single episode of Pennyworth because I'm not into. Who cares about an Alfred show? Anyway. But then I keep hearing how great the show is. And of course, when you keep hearing that, you're like, fine, I'll check it out. So I did. I checked this first episode of Harley Quinn, and it's good. It's a good episode. It's a little bit packed. It's a little bit packed for the first episode, I won't lie. I understand you're trying to set up these versions of these characters. You want to set up the tone. You want to set up essentially the story for the rest of this first season about Poison Ivy. You want to say Poison Ivy, but Harley Quinn breaking out, trying to be her own villain after breaking out with the Joker. And this is the episode that has them breaking up. Spoiler at the end, her making her own name. Trying to be part of the Legion of Doom. And you're like, okay, cool, great, awesome. But it is still, you feel like, okay, this is a little bit packed. But the jokes work. I mean, I didn't laugh every single joke, naturally. It's a little bit of if this joke didn't work for you, maybe the next joke will. I have a dark, twisted sense of humor. So when the beginning Joker starts playing with the guy's face, I mean, this is when you go say, yeah, I'm probably going to hell for this. Him, tending the masters of puppet and go, boo, 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 boo. I'm like, yep, Or the scene where you have Calendar Man, and Calendar Man's kid brings her the Katniss, and it's and the Arkham guards are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're bringing a Katniss to Arkham? Do you realize you got Poison Ivy? You bloody moron! No wonder your father doesn't remember your birthday. And probably the best scene in the show, comedic wise, is the gym scene. The Commissioner Gordon scene. And definitely the whole thing of trying to Harley's see, I'll admit it, after this guy proves he fucks with bats, and you're like, he doesn't fuck bats. Why? What? You're like, I get it, you're trying to find a reason. Why is he dressing up like a bat? Well, he must fuck them. Because how do you fuck bats? Anyway. Unless it's man bat, I mean, that whole thing. Because how do you do that? Anyway, just don't bite them head off, because viruses. Anyway, but you got the scene where Harley's saying oh, the Joker and I are gonna be there, gonna be together, married, and we'll be at a hotel. It's all inclusive. And then Jim replied, "There's a thing all inclusive. It's bullshit. They charge you for the soap. They charge you for the towels, lotion." And then Batman's like, Jim, it's great. Alan Tudyk as Joker is really good. It's kind of one of those things it's not Mark Hamill, but it's trying to do something different and kind of in the vein of it, and it's okay. And I mean, the voice acting is really well done. I think Ivy is probably going to be the best person of the show. It's just, she's a straight girl. She's a straight person. She's basically the audience saying, oh, for fuck's sakes. I mean, every time that there's this part where Harley, I think it's the E, right? The both ends up wise. Harley Quinn, you know, goes back with Joker for a little bit, and she's like, "Oh, for fuck's sakes!" And, that's necessarily what the audience feels. So, or at least what I felt. But I won't lie, I'm on board. It's funny, actually really good animation, definitely when it comes to the action. That sometimes, because sometimes these animated shows and sometimes movies can feel very cheap. But you kind of just like, okay, you go for it. But anyway, I'm on board. I'll check out the other 12